Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Live from the WGBS studios. Get your cup of coffee or get your shot of whiskey. It's time for Coffee Chat with Sam and Janet.
Happy Monday, marvelous people. I'm dragging a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let me get my coffee. Yeah, I'm dragging a little bit today.
I see.
So, happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to the Coffee Chat with Sam G and
Janet Campbell Geyser.
oh, government name. We're gonna get started here in a second, guys. It is I don't even have an excuse for why I'm dragging. It's just because it's Monday. We didn't do a whole lot this weekend.
No, because we had car issues.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that from the mental aspect. How do you handle those unexpected life events? That's a good title, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. So, guys, grab your cup of coffee, your water, your refreshing beverage, what have you, whatnot. I'm going to get this thing started. Go ahead and share the link for us if you don't mind. And please, by all means, interact and we enjoy your comments. Okay.
Absolutely.
How you doing today, Janet?
I'm okay. Right now.
Good morning, Rashad.
Morning, Rashad.
Okay, all right. So
So,
yeah,
how was your event, Rashad?
what event?
He had an event this weekend.
Oh, okay.
So
You
when
want to
you
talk about how you want to? What do you want to get started with today?
ooh, I'm gonna let you lead this, babe.
I'm gonna talk about the car incident. What is it? An incident? Would it be an incident or?
Well, we had plans, do certain things, and then we had a hiccup.
So how do you guys handle those unexpected life events, scenarios that pop up? So we're gonna excited to go to this favorite burger joint of ours to have lunch. Get out there. Car did not start. Car did not say anything. Right?
Crickets.
Crickets. Oh, battery's gone. Then we realized the battery in the car was kind of. I think we got our money's worth out of it. So we figured that out. Anyway, that threw the whole day off. Got my next door neighbor to take me to go get a battery. Had to go to 3 different places because the battery was, kind of out of stock. Still those logistic issues going on, right? So found the right battery at the right price. But by then, the day was shot. I mean, you're running around from place to place. Kind of messes with your mind a little bit. By the way, any of those things that pop up unexpected, guys, is going to kind of throw you off mentally. But it's how you deal with it, right? Got to spend some time with my next door neighbor. Find out that this guy was trying to drive me all over town because he's a retired person, and he said he sits there in his apartment in his house and doesn't do anything. So he was having a good old time, Janet. I was like, yeah, we got the battery. Can we go ahead and head back?
You know,
Go ahead and head back.
here's the deal. Where we live, most of the people that live over here by us are like the majority of them are in their 80s, which I found real interesting.
Which makes it a very quiet place, though.
It is very quiet. It's definitely not a quote unquote family friendly, in my opinion, place to live because usually when you think of family friendly with children and stuff like that, you'll have some type of playground or you'll have a pool, things like that. This complex that we live in, it has none of that, right? It doesn't even have a dog run. So the majority of our neighbors are elderly, and then you have a lot of neighbors who work from home, and stuff like that. But this particular neighbor, he walks the complex every morning. And, you know, a couple of months back when I usually take my dog out in the back, through the back. And this particular, a couple of times, we'll take him out through the front. Well, Sam takes him out through the front. I take him through the back. But I started noticing these dog biscuits. And I'm like, who is tossing dog biscuits to my dog? And I was offended because, to me, that's not proper etiquette. Like, I don't know you, whoever the you is. I don't know you. And, I don't know what you have in these biscuits. Sam had an experience with his dog where the neighbor actually poisoned his dog. And so I'm always kind of leery. And then you didn't ask me, what if my dog was allergic or, has some type of issues? But the kind of dog that we have, he doesn't eat. He's very picky. So he would go and sniff the bone, but he never touched the bone, right? He just went on about his
why don't you just go and say he's bougie?
Okay. Now, if it was some pig skins, he'd have been all over that. But those bones he don't fool with. And finally, after Sam and I were racking our brains, like, who's doing this? Finally, I saw the neighbor that was doing it, and I was like, okay, it's the old guy. And, he had we were outside one time and he came and talked to us, and he was saying that he was the one who was, he confirmed that he was the person that was throwing the bones. And I was just like, I don't know if you want to waste your time doing that, because he doesn't eat that. But somebody's dog is eating them,
right?
Because
they're disappearing.
They're disappearing. I don't know if the ants are getting to him. I don't know what's happening. But he's a really nice guy. When if he comes up to and talks to you, obviously it's a long conversation. But he's a very nice guy, and it was a blessing for us to have him available and willing to take Sam to look for to get a replacement.
Yeah, he's very nice, and I think we're going to start watching some. I don't really watch sports. I like to go to live sports, but we talked about maybe catching a football game or two, since it's football season. He don't really watch sports either. But anyway, we'll see how that goes. But anyway, guys, my question from all of that was, how do you handle those things? Do you let it get you down? Do you thrive in that situation? I tend to thrive in it. I mean, I can't afford to let something like that get me down. Janet and I are both solutions-oriented people, so okay. Battery's dead. Let's go get another battery, kind of thing, right? And we still got to go and have lunch. It was just delayed on Friday. We went to the place we wanted to go to. Couldn't take the dog. We were going to take him with us, but we couldn't do that because they have outside seating, right? But it kind of threw the whole day off. Nevertheless, I don't think we recovered, or we recovered, rather, I should say, until later that evening. Then we had virtual happy hour, which was really good, by the way.
Yeah, virtual happy hour was good.
Yeah,
was good.
If you guys are not catching the virtual happy hours, you need to get in there. Guys, we're not on. First of all, it's not live. No one's getting drunk. It's not that. It's not that kind of happy hour, right? It's actually a space where grown adults can have good conversation.
And we had some amazing conversations.
Basically, that's basically what it was. Conversation.
Good morning, really Carla. Cool. Happy to see you on. So, babe, Carla, my mom and her mom were best friends for many, many years. Oh, okay. When we moved to Indiana, we didn't have any relatives there. And so her family became our family. Yep. And she's Lolita's age. And she had a brother, Carlton, who was my age. And we literally grew up together.
Well, good morning, cousin Carla.
So not only did that happen, right? When we finally did make it to our spot to have lunch, that's right. I mean, we're usually there and it doesn't take long, right? It's a small place, very good burgers and stuff. It doesn't usually 15, 20 minutes max, right?
If that.
But this particular time, oh my God, it was over an hour, wasn't it, babe?
Yeah, it was. We had to wait because someone broke their protocol, was doing their rush hour. They don't take large orders, and the large order came through, so they had to have all hands on deck to satisfy that order.
11-person order. 11 orders is what they
In the
had.
middle of their rush hour. I'm sorry,
Yes,
lunch hour, rush hour.
right. And so that was like, oh my God. So we're glad we didn't take the dog, because that just would have been too long sitting outside with the dog, and it was hot on Friday as well. Um, I see that Rashad responded that his event went well. It was hot though. Yes, it was, and I'm sure you was exhausted. We understand that because we was exhausted. We was exhausted.
That's why he was so quiet on virtual happy hour.
No, his event was Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, his event was Saturday.
So,
Mm-hmm.
guys, as usual, if you want us to, discuss something here, we absolutely will, because this is an open forum, an open discussion. We even extend the courtesy if you want to come on live right now with us. I think we're gonna move on, Janet. We were talking about this LOL thing, right?
Yes.
You guys know how the LOL started? Laughing out loud. Let me see if anyone knows. LOL, laughing out loud.
How did it start?
I know somebody's going to think it was the millennials did it, but nope, you're wrong. Actually, based on the time frame, it probably was my generation, a Gen Xer.
You're a Gen Xer, babe?
I think so. That's what I was told. So this guy in the 80s in Canada, right? Pre-internet, you still had the digital forums and communication sites and everything that people going in. Anybody remember those forums? I do. And you go in there, and this guy, someone said a joke or something. He was in his house by himself in his computer, and he literally laughed out loud. It wasn't a giggle, wasn't a smirk, wasn't a hee hee. He laughed out loud. So instead of him doing his normal ha 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 ha, he did all caps LOL. This was the mid 80s, I believe, and it was a Canadian who started it, who did that the first time. I thought that was kind of interesting. So that led Janet, as usual, to do a little bit of research.
Because it's just useless information that I find interesting.
Into some of these other, what do you call those? The LOLs. They're not, those not memes. Internet slang.
Yeah, internet slang.
Okay. So you're gonna go over some of those, or?
So sure. So we already discussed LOL, but then we know some of these, right? The OMGs, the ILYs, the LMAOs, the TTYNs, all of these, they're called. I know that there's another name for them. Are they called acronyms, or what? But some of the ones, like the MMBs, like, what is that? Message me back. Okay. I know NC is no comment, but we found these internet slangs. I found these internet slangs just from some research, and I thought that, because I'm a baby boomer, technically I'm a baby boomer, I'm a second generation baby boomer, okay, because that age range is 1955 to 1964. And Sam, you're right, you're Gen X, 1965 to 1980. Uh-huh. So I need to know these, because these kids, they do all the slangs. And I'm like, now you're having text messages full of slang, and you don't even know. It's like, what kind of conversation? No, it's not slangs, it's emojis now. So now I have to research, right, what all the emojis mean. So my question to you all are, how often do you use any of the internet slangs? Or are you more emoji? Or like me, are you typing stuff out? Full sentences.
Well, I can't use too much of it because of, what I'm talking about with my clients, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talking about, investing in insurance. You can only go so far. I mean, we can get away with an LOL.
Right.
That's pretty much it, and maybe a couple others. Um, Unless I have that client, because I do have some younger clients in mid 30s, early to mid 30s range, not a whole lot. And if they do it, I have to ask them, well, what does that mean? They laugh at me, of course. So that's my extent of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I have to write everything out like you do, I guess.
Carla says she just started speaking corrective English. Now this, I know, right? Trying to keep up with the trends is difficult, man. It's difficult. Trends are always changing.
I just
You
thought
know,
about something because last week we were talking about how they're not teaching the kids how to write in cursive, and then some don't know how to read in cursive.
right?
So with the combination of the memes, emojis, and the internet slang, they have by default created their own language. Because if you see some of this stuff, it's like, okay, you're gonna have to break this down and tell me what all this means.
Not only that is that it really stops you from using like correct grammar.
Hmm.
So a lot of these text messages, there is no beginning and ending to a sentence. It's a complete run-on sentence, and then that translates over into, what you write on social media,
Hmm.
right? It's full of slang and no punctuation, no, not even capital letters, and then your word usage is completely incorrect. you know Words are there for a reason, and different way. Even if the word sounds the same, they mean something different. They all mean something different. you know to TO, TWO, and TOO, they all mean different things, but people will use TO as the number two, or TOO for something that's, and it's like you're messing up the language. So then that kind of translates over into, business. So how can you be a professional, if you work in any corporate, organization or professional, or sending a professional email, even if you work from home, and not pay attention to your grammar? That's, to me, that's the downside of that's the downside of Twitter, in my opinion, because that's when I saw it happening. And the downside of, you know a lot of text messaging is that over the time we've lost the ability to actually speak in real sentences
Do
and
you
write in real sentences too.
do you think it's a loss or more of an evolution of ongoing evolution of the English language? Because no countries or places that were colonized by English speaking colonizers
Colonize.
speaks the Queen's English, right? It's variations thereof, right? So that just came to my head. Is it a continuous evolution of it here? Um, and I agree with you with what you just said about it's going to be interesting how these generations are going into businesses, but they're actually now they're writing their own ticket, right? So maybe that might be something that'll change or evolve. Like I said, along with everything else that's going on for these. Actually, I think it's about 2 or 3 generations, right? That's kind of entirely different from previous generations. This is just one area because they don't apologize
They
for
don't.
how they're
They don't.
viewing the world and how they're moving through the world. This is how we're doing it. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks, right?
And that if you are your own, doing your own thing, then I guess that's fine. But what I'm really talking about is when we're having communications with multiple generations, right? Or when we're having to deal with corporate organizations, because no matter, we are coming into, a lot of the millennials are and Gen Zs are really doing things their own way. And
Hmm.
that's fine. All of that's fine. But we still have, Fortune 500 companies that people are having to deal with as well. So it's okay. Like when I go home, my accent changes.
No, really?
Yeah, my accent changes. When I get around my family, if I'm there for 2 days, then that Creole comes out in full force, right? But,
Just a
when I
whole
move,
other variation of the English language.
it is.
Okay.
However, when I went back, hey Indy, when I went back to like working for the pharmaceutical company that I worked for. Let me preface it by saying this. When I was in Louisiana working, the wholesale liquor company, Casa, all of that stuff, whatever Louisiana company I was going to, my dialect and my accent was fine because we all spoke the same language, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then I had to evacuate to another state.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I was in a corporate situation where people, they really couldn't like grasp what I was saying because our language, people in Louisiana, when we're talking to our homies or whatever, our family members, we say certain things, and that doesn't resonate across the board. And so I needed to be taken seriously, right? I didn't need to give up my culture, but I needed to be able to make sure that my language was being distributed across the platforms just so I could be taken seriously, in corporate. And so here we are right now, right? So I guess what my point is that you need to be able to transition accordingly, in my opinion.
Agree. I agree with that.
Mhm.
I don't know how we got so deep on the English language, right? I mean,
Because you brought up the slang.
uh, it's always like on me all the time. So, anyway, guys, you guys can weigh in on that if you will. We're going to keep it moving here. I don't know if Janet noticed this, but the nerd I am, I'm following this Artemis launch, guys. Um, the what are they calling it? The journey back to the moon. It makes me want to put this question out there. Do you guys think we ever went to the moon? Because there is a conspiracy theory that we never did. It was all shot on a Hollywood soundstage. I never really looked into that because I've always been into space and Star Trek and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, this is legit because I'm living through it, I guess. But they're getting ready to launch this Artemis launch. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. And with the end goal being, actually colonizing, there's that word again, colonizing the moon. With that being a stage for, of course, getting to Mars. And we know who's leading this, SpaceX in conjunction with NASA. And we all know who owns SpaceX, the infamous Elon Musk. But anyway, just want to put that out there. Something I'm watching today.
I just kind of feel like if we had actually gone to the moon, it seems to me that if we actually reached the moon, that we would have gone more than once.
And we would have already done some things up there.
Right.
Okay.
It would have all right, because they said we went to the moon, and then you haven't heard anything else about us being in the moon since that time, and that was what, in the 60s?
Yeah.
Okay. So I see Rashad is saying that he missed his calling as an English teacher or an English professor.
And I can't see him as a teacher.
No, Rashad, you would be cursing the Pochurans out. And then he said a pet peeve of his is seeing words used incorrectly and simple sentences misconstructed. Yes. Like, did these people ever go to English class? That is a pet peeve of mine as well. But here's what I'm seeing is that instead of, when you try to correct that and say, hey, this you might want to look at, you misspelled a word or something like that, then other people start attacking you. We know what they meant, blah, 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 on and on and on and on. Have a wonderful flight, Carla. On and on and on and on. And so it's like you get ridiculed for speaking correct English, right? And then, so when we get ridiculed for speaking correct English and using the type of language that we're using, our vernacular decreases substantially. I remember when I was in high school, again, we had this. If Rhonda comes on, she can tell me if I think he was one of the assistant principals. We had like two or three assistant principals. And this guy would get over the loudspeaker and say, students, there would be no congregating in the vestibule area. And I always found that I found it hilarious, but I was so intrigued by the usage, the words vestibule and congregating, right? So, it's like he was telling us to stop hanging out in this particular area of entrance way of the school, that we couldn't hang out there. But the word usage, it was the usage of the words that made me fall in love with the with words, and of course being a drama student, and we talked about how our English teacher, we ended up becoming her teacher's pets. They use, when you're in drama, speech, or chorus, you have to use your whole mouth in order to enunciate, the words that you're singing or speaking, right? If you're in drama. And so that's always been a thing, for me, in a positive way. That's been a thing for me. And then of course I love Shakespeare as well. So
Okay.
until I'm So what have you been working on? What are you working on, babe,
For this week or a period?
for this week?
This week I'm actually working on some marketing. Actually, I think I'm done. I need to create a couple of videos. So, I'm moving into a private community for my business, what I do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's done, and it's already. I actually should have dropped the link in here, but I'm Cash Flow Creators Community, guys. I'm basically going to be showing people how to grow their money, 5 exit, 10 exit, whatever, through various platforms that we use and have been using some of these. Some are new, so it's going to be some short-term, quick cash flow creation. We got a real estate platform. Our strategy that we use. We got the Bank of You, which is the how they properly structure and use whole life insurance policies to become your own bank. Basic life insurance as well. We do that. Everything I do just now for a private community. Someone asked me, why am I doing the private community? And I think I always run everything by Janet. Yeah. When I say partner, I mean that in the truest sense. So if I'm going to have her as my partner, I need to be able to run things by you. So, it's been a few months ago that I kind of, shared with her how I was feeling about my business. For the last 20 years, I give away a lot of info. But one thing I've noticed, if I talk to 10 people, maybe three of them will take it a little bit serious. Then out of that three, maybe one or two and actually take action. Right? We've been together for a while, Jenny. Can you agree with that or not agree?
I do agree.
Okay. So my thought process is that I almost hated feeling this way. It's like, man, am I wasting time, or what's the problem? But it becomes up to that individual. I'll have this saying that I always tell clients and people who are looking to become a client. Listen, I'm gonna take you to this beautiful, clear lake of mineralized water. It's nutrient dense. Through the natural purification process, it got all these nice vitamins and minerals in it, right? But I cannot make you take a sip. I can only take you there, right?
Right.
So now, and I know there's this isn't a new concept. So I looked at some other people who are doing this. I It's kind of selfish. I want to be in a space where the people that I'm helping really want to help, and more importantly, they want to change their financial narrative. So the private community will allow me to do that, because who's going to join a community if they don't want to be a part of it, right? And take
Right.
action. At least that's my thought process. But it is really, really geared to what I've always done, is find the people who really want to take advantage, especially what's going on right now in financial services, and how technology is making it so easy. I got some clients, man. I took these clients, and I don't say clients' names, but I took them. They wanted to learn how to trade the forex market. They didn't think they could do it. Inside of 30 days, they're trading, making money, right? They're setting up their bank of you. So now we're going to set up the bank of you to finance a large purchase that they want to do. So instead of taking that money out of the bank, their bank account, and using it once, you put it into this strategy, and you can use it over and over and over to finance other things, personal business or whatever, right? So here's something, a family or clients that had no idea how this stuff worked. They just invested in the real estate strategy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to be getting 10, 12% on that, right? Or listening to me, taking advice and taking action, right? That's what I want to see right now. So that's what I'm working on, is finishing that up, blasting out to people and allowing people to join who are going to take action, because I don't have a problem with people listening to what I'm saying. But then I kind of feel a way because this happens a lot too, right, Janet? And this is something that really tripped you out when we first got together, because I'll talk to someone, they'll literally come back a year, 2, 3 years later, and they'll remember what I, mapped out for them, their plan, but they never did anything,
Right.
right?
Right. And
They
these plans are designed to help them better their own situations. Yeah, I've seen that happen to you a few times.
yeah, they've never taken action. So anyway, that's what I'm working on. I'm excited about it, and I really want to work with people who really want to, make that change for them. So, what are you working on?
Well, I have a couple of things going on. I'm still cranking out these items that's going to go into this store, and then I am being commissioned to make some shirts for travel. So I'm creating some mock-ups for for a client, which I'm really excited about doing those and seeing how they like the designs that I'm creating. And that's pretty much taking up a whole lot of my time. I like this with Rashad because my voicemail you and I think that my voicemail on my phone is still the same. But when I had a landline, I used to say that we're not abode right now, but please leave a message and we'll get back with you as expeditiously as we can. And so what was happening was that people were saying, "You're in a boat." Abode, ABODE, abode.
That's not a common word for a lot of people, though.
I know, I know. And but I love word usage, or as expeditiously. Some people just say expeditiously as I can, but as expeditiously. So expeditious means swiftly, right? I'm going to get back with you as swiftly as I can, as fast as I can. And so as expeditiously is the correct word usage. And also, so to me, in my mind, it's important to know the word, to say the word correctly, and know what the word means. I used to play these games with my kids when they were little, and I would be dropping them off to school, and it would be the word of the day, and then use it in a sentence. It's important to have a good vernacular, I feel, because you never know where you're going to end up. And most of the times, a lot of us don't end up where we grew up at. I certainly haven't. I've been all over the place. I've been all over the place, and I've met some pretty amazing, amazing people. So that's me. But yeah, that's what I'm working on, babe. Trying to get these mock-ups out, and this what I'm doing for this particular location.
Okay. Always busy over here, guys. We're a little dragging today, so
Yeah.
but the show must go on. So that's our
Hmm.
commitment. We committed to doing this. Um,
I want to ask a question because, I have these things that pop up in my Facebook, my memories. And so one of them popped up and I was like, it was 12 years ago, right? Um, there was a couple of them that kind of popped up. One of them had to do with Hurricane Katrina. So if I can find it. So August 29th, now it's been like 17 years ago. August 29th, but I did this 10 years ago, marks the 10-year anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. I can still see those days prior to the storm, how nice the weather was. It was truly calm, the calm before the storm. I recall the continual, persistent calls from my son, who seemed glued to the news, giving me a play-by-play and saying I need to leave. But I looked outdoors and the windows, and I was like, it's really beautiful out here, and it gave no indication that a storm was headed my way. As a matter of fact, everyone thought that the storm would just really go over our heads. It was at the very last minute that we made the decision to leave, and I'm telling Ray, that it was just a drive. We literally only took clothes like we were going on vacation, because we had numerous false alarms that year, and I didn't feel pressure to pack the trunk, even though. Right. I didn't feel pressure to pack the trunk, but I took my safe just in case. And my safe had all of my important documents in it. It was something that I could grab quickly.
You want to make sure you didn't leave the gold bullion behind, huh?
I want to make sure. So, as it turns out, we were heavily impacted, and we were heavily impacted in that storm, and maybe one day we'll kind of delve into that. But my lesson, right? The thing that I took away, and you were saying this earlier about certain things knocking you off track. Obviously, something like Hurricane Katrina, and me coming back home to complete devastation and the loss of all of my items were a huge thing that would knock you off course, right? But remember how I always say that out of, however many bad things happen, that you have to counteract that with several good things. You got to find the light, the positivity in all of that. So, I had to focus myself on, the things that I did have. I had Ray. Ray was safe with me. I was able to get out, because a lot of people, those of us who are from the area, we know that, a lot of people, they didn't have the means or the reliable transportation to get out of that situation. And we did. And then in addition to all of that, I actually had some place to land, and so, when we face those challenges, there's always something, whatever our challenges are, there's always something that positive that we can hold on to help us, climb out of that situation. But I was also commenting that, in Katrina, right? One of the other things that Katrina actually did for me in a positive way was it moved me to a place that gave me an amazing opportunity. And I actually, was able to buy a home, and, and all that kind of stuff. I met some amazing folks. And then, of course, I ended up meeting you. If it hadn't been for Katrina, I'd have never met you. Just like if it hadn't been whatever situations that, you had out there and that made you leave California, and come to Atlanta, we simply would have never met. True. So not everything that happens to us isn't meant to destroy us, but it's set up for something greater for us, was what I wrote in 2015. I found that real interesting and very encouraging to me 7 years later. Okay. I'm just saying.
Hey, Pat. Good morning.
Good morning, Pat. You're working on setup to set up the live vintage and new clothing accessory platform. There's a software involved to make the sales go smoothly. I'm a little behind, but my intended goal is not to give up. Good. Just, you got to do things at your pace, and one of the other things that I wrote that during at that same time, because 2010 was the year, August 2010 was the year that we buried my father.
Mm.
Right, my father died August 2010, and then we buried him. So for whatever reason, I also wrote while in church this morning, I looked to my left and saw my grandmother during her dance down the aisle. I looked to the pulpit and saw my dad. He winked and smiled at me. Am I losing my mind? No. They are forever with me, guiding and helping me through. As the tears flowed, I found myself smiling. Thanks, Dad and Grandma Vernon. So, you know, it brings me to a question like, do y'all believe in actual life after death? That's one question that I have. Do you believe that there's life after death, a heaven or hell? Do you believe that there's a place called there? Do you really do you think so or no? And then the other question that I have is
That's three questions, man. Back to back.
all right, I'll just leave it there for
Let's
now.
take them one at a time.
All right. All right.
Like
Do
you teach.
y'all believe that there's life after death? Is there heaven or hell? So life after death means that you're going somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
And do you believe that there's a place called there? What do you think about that, babe?
I want to see some responses first. And while we're waiting on a couple responses, let me address something Rashad posted. There is no Castro Creators Community tonight. We got to get on the same page.
Mhm.
It's starting, the launch is next week. So the first one will be that will make it next Monday, a week from today. And that should probably go on out, if not later today, probably about tomorrow for those who want to come in. The first one is going to be an overview about what we're doing inside of that community. But thanks, Rashad. We just got to get on the same page with it. So not tonight, not anything going on this week, starting Monday. So the first question was
Do you believe in life after death?
absolutely.
Do you believe that there's a heaven or hell?
No.
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 Do you believe there's a place called there?
Well, if it's related to is there life after death, then I would say yes.
Okay, so now the question is, expound. Give me your reasons why you believe you for your answers.
I have firsthand knowledge
Uh-huh.
of the life after death because I did die and was fortunate enough to not stay there. Okay, or had the choice to not stay there from my experience. So, and I don't want to get too deep on this because I can and I will. So, yes, there is life. I believe there is life after death because of my experience, and that changed my whole take on a heaven and hell. Because let me just sum it up. This right here might be the heaven or hell, or heaven or hell is the yin yang of everything. There's that balance that everything in nature is always trying to seek because we have that good and that bad side within us.
So the question that's on the table, guys, is do you believe in life after death? Do you believe that there's a place called there? And do you believe in heaven and hell?
I don't think anyone's going to get it's early in the morning, Janet. That's kind of
Too
deep.
early.
Yeah, that's very
Good
deep.
morning, Yolanda. It was just something that I was thinking about when I was reading. Well, I've been thinking about it. It's something that popped up in my head over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that I say that is because, a lot of people, right? You see all of these shows, these medium shows where people are speaking to your loved ones, and all of that kind of stuff. And a lot of people are making a lot of money. The celebrities are making money on that. The people who read for celebrities are making money on that. So that was just a question that I had. But you're right, babe. It's kind of early. It's a little bit more of it, and I don't want to delve. I just wanted to know people's opinions,
Right.
and before we move on for that, I'll give my own opinion.
Okay.
Is that I absolutely believe in life after death. I believe that the flesh dies away, but the spirit that houses that the flesh is housed in goes somewhere. Okay. I
Mhm.
do believe that there is a place called there, because you were actually there. There's a lot of people that have quote unquote near death or death experiences that were in a like the pinnacle between life and death. But there's a lot of other people who once the spirit leaves the body, it's just like they're gone someplace. And I absolutely emphatically believe in a heaven and hell. I really do. So I'm going to stop talking about that, and let's move on to the
Yeah, you
next.
went deep on this Monday morning.
Don't I always? Because I be thinking, I be thinking, I be thinking, I be thinking. Yes, Pat, spirits are real.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, spirits are real.
And there is a there.
hmm There is a place called there.
So we agree 2 out of 3.
Yeah, we do.
That's winning odds. That's winning odds. We still good. We still good. So wow, yeah. Just when you're it's always the case when you're dragging or whatever, like you're at the job and you're trying to wait for lunch break or time to clock out, the time goes by slow. We're dragging today, guys. We don't even know why we're dragging a little bit. We didn't do a whole lot over the weekend. Um, so that's why you see a little bit of you hear a little bit of gaps. we're not we're not at the top of our game today. But you know
Right.
what? You know what? The
What?
coffee chat. That you notice I put the right. The coffee chat.
The coffee chat.
We're still the goat for your morning Facebook Live, or someone said
It's still.
podcast. So I'm gonna do my little goat, right? We're still the goat.
Speaking of goats, speaking of goats,
Goat. Goats.
one of my brothers is an exterminator. Okay. And this dude has all kinds of stories about, a day in a life and what he does. And a lot of things are just incredibly gross. I don't
See
know
if I can
how
find that
people
picture.
live like that. I just don't know how you live like that. But he makes a very good living doing what he does because you want to be nasty. I ain't even mad at him. But over the weekend, or last week, he sent us a picture of someone's home that he went into, and this person literally has a goat in a cage like it's a dog, like the goat is in the house, and he says that the lady who owns the goat, that she walks the goat around the neighborhood on a leash. Now, this lady lives in an apartment, y'all. I just find this just like all kinds of wrong,
I was
right?
trying to find the picture, but I think you texted to me.
So yeah, I did. Um, I just find this incredibly wrong. And I'm like, how did she end up with a goat? Her boyfriend gave her the goat for Valentine's Day, like 2 years ago. So let me ask y'all,
That was an
if your
awesome
man,
expression of love, by the way.
if your man gave you a goat for Valentine's Day, what would you do? What would you do?
Well, but this lady took it. She kept it. She's had it for what, 2 years?
Yeah, she's had it for 2 years. She certainly has had it for 2 years.
That goat wouldn't have lasted 2 years if I had it. Tasty,
Yeah, we
tasty.
know. We know. Uh,
Yeah, I was trying to. I think you text me that picture instead
I
of.
did text it to you. And I have the picture. I'm just trying to get it to you.
Check this out. Yolanda says he says she's the goat. I mean, he gave it to him Valentine's Day. Obviously, she must have said express her love for goats. Because that's not something, come on, any guy just would just, hey, I'm gonna buy you a goat. And not only is I'm gonna get you a goat, it's gonna be on Valentine's Day. Okay. So
If that's not the craziest thing in the world.
yeah. Yeah. She must have been the goat.
She must have been a goat bag.
Mm-hmm. But not his goat because they're not together, right? Your brother said.
Oh, I don't even know.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm just, my brain cut off when I saw the picture of the daggone goat, right?
Did you see
That's
the
in a
picture, the
cage
video,
like it's a dog. No, I just sent you the picture.
the video of the kids holding the raccoons like a little dog?
I see more of that, because clearly I follow a lot of people who rescue animals, and so a lot of raccoons end up being rescued. I would never want, as much as I love animals, I would never want raccoons because they got rabies. I did y'all see the video of the lady who got attacked by the fox? Wait,
that fox wasn't having it, man.
that fox kept coming for her, but did you notice she never dropped that cell phone though? I'm a drop kick you, but I am not dropping my cell phone. This is a picture of the goat, y'all.
In an apartment on top of that, right?
And do you see how that cage? I don't even think that the goat can turn around in the cage. So what he did say was that she was the goat, the greatest of all time. He said that the apartment stank to high heavens. Clearly, it's
This is
a
a
goat.
goat.
It's a goat.
I'm sure that was pure OD funky in
Yes,
there, man.
it does smell. It does smell.
But how do you get away with having a goat in a cage in an apartment?
Right. Exactly. How do you get away with that? In my opinion, that's like animal cruelty. Goats need a place to roam, and they need to be able to eat all the grass and trees and whatever else they get.
Right. I tell you what, I mean, if they ever,
Okay.
make
Send
food,
send it.
if they ever want to, butcher it, it's going to be some tender meat because he's not, able to move too much. Goat milk.
So, well, you know what? I'm not mad if you're going to use the goat as, for leverage, because my daughter had to drink goat's milk when she was a baby. She couldn't handle the formula, and for whatever reason with her, I was only able to nurse for a very very short period of time. So we found a goat farm, but these goats wasn't being caged in they were free range goats. They weren't housed in cages, in an apartment. They were actually on land and were able to roam.
So if you knew that, you could have had your own goat and you could have been milking fresh goat milk.
Yep.
As needed.
Goat milk, goat soap. You can be like Forrest Gump now. Come up with all kinds of stuff.
Barbecue it, lemon pepper goat, pepper stew, hot pepper stew.
So, babe, I'm going backwards, right? Because I'm reading some of the comments that people are saying about, life after death. So we already heard Pat say that spirits are real, and some people think that we all go to heaven at the same time instead of a place that we go immediately after death. I don't believe that all people go to heaven, and I don't believe that all people go to hell. I am a Bible believer. So Rashad says he believes in heaven and hell. He believes that in life after death, but he's not sure as the place called there. There is so broad, so it's really not a way of determining where there is, just my opinion. Well, we believe in a place called there because it was our experience, right? Sam literally died for 45 seconds. So, and then he came back. I mean, if you looked at the monitor, that thing was flat,
Flat
so
line, flat line.
flat line, that's death, right? So, and in his experience, it seemed much longer. There was a lot. It was 45 seconds for us, but for him, there was a plethora of things that went on in that space of time in that realm that he was in. Um, so I just kind of like wanted to highlight those things. And then, of course, people are talking about the greatest goat of all time. I think that if you raise goats, and I do see the video that Yolanda put up, but I don't think that we're able to share the video.
I don't see the video.
Oh, she just sent it to me.
Oh,
I don't think that we're able to share, but I think that if you get the raccoons as their babies or whatever, then you can domesticate them better. I've seen that a lot. I have a raised eyebrow to it, but it's not like it's not normal. It's just like people who like have snakes, and turtles. I would never have a snake with my child, I don't like snakes. Even though when I was little, when I was a little girl and I was a tomboy, I literally, me and my brother Tony used to gather the daggone snakes. So I can't believe that I'm so screwy about snakes as I got older. Oh, she says she tagged us both. So
trying to clean up. Disclaimer: we are not telling anyone to go out and get a wild animal as a pet. Remember,
no,
if you choose to do something like that, they are wild animals, whether you got them as a baby or not. That's our
right.
disclaimer. Sam and Janice said I can go out and get me a boa constrictor.
I would never tell you
They find you in the belly of the boa constrictor. No, that's not what she said.
I wonder, India, that's a very good question. I wonder in certain states, you can't have certain things. So I wonder if it would be illegal to have raccoons as pet, but clearly it's not because this girl, this, I wish that we could show the video. This little girl is her and her brother got the snakes in their arms, holding them like you would hold like your little cat or your little dog.
I had the video, I could show it, but I'm not seeing where I'm tagged. I was going to say something about, on the flip side of that, there are cities and counties and states for that matter, but more the local governments are cracking down on it because some of these people get tired of the animal and they just let them loose.
Yeah, like the monkeys or like
They just let them loose.
tigers. People want these exotic pets because they're so cute when they're babies, right? But then them suckers grow up and now you scared.
Okay, I see it here now. Let me see.
Mm-hmm. So I just wonder what kind of, if you like animals, right? What kind of exotic pet would you have?
I mean,
What would you do, babe?
I'll just speak. The goat. You know how I feel about goats, right?
In the
And
house. When I say
oh, in
pets,
the
I'm
house.
talking about in house. I ain't talking about no sanctuary. I ain't talking about no farming. I'm talking about in house.
I don't think I would have an exotic pet. There's some couple of dog breeds that I would like to have that are kind of pricey. That's about it for me as far as in the house.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a cat person, but we had a cat. Actually, the cat had us. The cat moved in. That's an interesting story. The cat just moved in and never left. He got the door was open. The cat comes in, checks out the whole. Literally goes upstairs, all into the rooms, the office. Janet's the initial layer.
Mm-hmm.
The cat checked out the whole house. Next thing you know, he came back down, sat on the couch, and never left.
And never left. India just reminded me of something. So there was this place called Roy Boy. It was a tattoo spot on Broadway in Indiana, and this guy had a live tiger. But Indy, he didn't only have a live tiger in the shop; he had a cub bear. Okay. I remember riding down the street on a motorcycle one time, and I thought it was a dog. It was chained up to like the fire hydrant. And I was like, that's an unusual looking dog. And then the little cub stood up. It was a whole bear. It was a whole bear. I almost wrecked. Somebody wants Rashad wants a koala bear.
Man, you know koala bear, man. Okay,
Yeah.
let me see if I can share this. I'm gonna show the video real quick. I'm gonna see. Okay, there we go. Yep, she got her baby raccoon. I don't know. The raccoon looked kind of scared to me. like, wait a minute, what's she taking me, man? I just going to get some food.
Here's what I be tripping on raccoons when I watch these videos. It's like you have the outdoor cats, right? You know, and they come and they eat their food, and then the raccoons just come and like they just snatch like scoops with their little paw, their little hands. They just come and snatch scoops of kibble or whatever, you know. And it's like the cats are looking like, did you really just eat my food? And they come back and get some more. Like, what you gonna do? I feel like raccoons are bullies.
Oh, they got a whole family. Each kid got a baby raccoon, looks like.
Man, ain't no way. Ain't no way. Yes, India, he had a whole cub, a bear up in there. Because I remember one in a tattoo, and I went to him, and then he had, he had a few exotic animals up in there. But he had this large snake, and I was like, I'm good. I'm straight. I don't want the tattoo. I think that if we lived on a farm, I've always loved horses. Like my whole life, I've loved horses. So I think that, if we lived on the farm, obviously I would want, a couple of goats, because you can do so many things with them. They can, you can make a living off of that, right? And I would probably want me a horse or two, not a whole stable, because horses are massive. They are massive. But I have never have I ever wanted quote unquote wild animals. I've never wanted wild animals. I just think that they need to be free. I don't want to put those things in captivity. I don't even like it bothers me to go to the zoo, and see like the animals in the zoo, because, when you see pictures of them in their habitat, in their like free range habitats, Africa, rainforest, wherever they're supposed to be from, they're like 3 times the size that they are in the zoos. And so those, they're meant to be massive. They're meant to be massive. Yes. Horses are beautiful.
Yeah, we're supposed to see animals in their natural habitat. That's why safaris are still attract a lot of people, right? Because you're seeing animals in its natural habitat. Going to some of those national parks rather, in South Africa and what have you. I've never really liked zoos. I always thought it was cruel for the animals. They're caged.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They're not living the life that they, were born to live. That's how I've always thought of zoos, even as a kid. Never really enjoyed it. I will say that how when I took Renell to the San Diego Zoo, is I realized how huge a polar bear is.
Oh,
those things are huge, man.
I think that listen, remember when we were watching this video and it was like a bison video, right? And you had these, they were in a scuffle. Like these animals, they don't have etiquette. They just fight in public and everything. But these two bisons, I have to assume that they were males, were fighting, and you had these people parking their vehicles, getting out of the vehicles and trying to get up close and personal to take a picture. And the park ranger had to tell them, listen, get back because these things will kill you. Have you ever seen one of them run into an elephant or anything like that, run into your car? Massively destroyed.
Right.
Massively destroyed. And you cannot expect for a wild animal to pay attention to your to you saying to stop or trying to domesticate a wild animal. No, come on, y'all. Use common sense. Stay in your vehicles away from the daggone wild animals.
If I was the park ranger, I'd give him one. I'll say it once, and that'll be it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then you wonder, then you hear things on the news about, people getting mauled by, these animals. Animals are going to do what animals do. You're the one who's supposed to be, as a human, right? We're supposed to be the most intelligent and evolved of the species. Common sense. Common sense clearly ain't common when you as a person will climb into an enclosure or go to where the wild animal is, or even if you're on safari and they tell you to stay in the vehicle and you get out the vehicle and you wonder why the animal just attacked you. You become prey real quick. So
and they want to sue the national park or sue somebody.
Exactly.
If they survive.
If they survive. If they survive. So, I also see these videos of your parrots and your cockatoos, and stuff like that. I love the animal vehicles. I've never wanted, what do they call it? Macau, or any of those. I think that birds are nasty. They're just really, really messy. And I remember that monkey mauled the owner's friend. Yep. And tore her whole face off. Yes. Why would you have a monkey? Listen, I was questioning Michael Jackson when he's sitting up here with Bubbles. Monkeys don't belong with him. They don't belong with us like that. But I tell you what, you go to India, right? And the monkeys, they come and they steal all your stuff. I find that hilarious. They are gangster. Monkeys are gangster. Okay. So the lady came home and found a bear sitting on her couch. It was watching TV. What? Is that true? I know they'll come in and, raid. Rob and his family. They love, they go to the cabins, right? They go to the cabins and, I was like, Rob, did y'all see any bears? Because bears are like, they will roll up on you. They will roll up on you. So, when you do things like that, or, you're in nature, you go hiking, you go camping, you really need to adhere to the rules of engagement and the rules that are posted. They post, don't feed the bears. Listen, there's a reason that they say don't feed the bears. There's a reason that they say, if you have trash, put your trash here instead of just open trash containers. There's a reason for all of that. Because bear animals are going to do what they are going to do. Bears love to eat. If you ever watched Boo Boo, what is it?
Boo
Yogi Bear. Bear. They love the picnic baskets.
Yo, boo boo.
So, hi, Mike. Yeah, so we're just talking about all kinds of crazy stuff right now. What type of if you could get any kind of wild animal you wanted, what type of animal would you get? Would you have the goat in the house?
I wouldn't have a goat in the house, but I would have goats.
In house, babe.
Okay.
Everybody knows your stance on goats. In house.
Just reminding people.
As a pet. As a pet.
I don't have any desire to have any wild exotic animal as a pet. Right. So Mike Macias, he and I worked together when I was living in Fresno, California at the Volkswagen dealership. And he left and went to Japan. I don't know if he's still in Japan. I'm telling all this little business, huh?
I tell you, speaking of Japan, one of my cousins had a what I consider to be an amazing opportunity. He had a chance to go to Japan and teach English.
That's what
So
Mike did.
he and his family was over there for a few years. And can you imagine what you're able to absorb from a whole other completely different culture? Now, we had a school, my family, we had a school, and there were a lot of exchange students. We had several exchange students from other countries, and it seemed like China and Japan were one of the major two countries that would send over exchange students. But for him to have the opportunity to go over there to teach for a year, teach English, and be able to absorb, it wasn't a year, it was a couple of years, to absorb that culture and language. If you guys would have an opportunity to go to another country to work, right? Tell me where would you go and what would you do? Clearly, I would love to go to Paris.
I mean, I don't want to go there to work though. That's where you knocked me out of that one.
You wanted a pet lion?
No,
I
he
never
didn't.
wanted it. I never wanted it.
Rashad's making that up. You don't know pet lion. I don't want no pet lion, man.
So India said that the monkeys are gangster in Costa Rica too.
Oh, he said yes, he did. Okay, Leo the lion, huh? That's pushing it. Even the so-called lion tamers had an incident with their lions, or tigers rather, Siegfried and Roy. So again, guys, these are wild animals. You can get them as a baby if you want to. Inertly, genetically, historically, it's a wild animal. So we are not saying go out and get a wild animal as a pet. Disclaimer.
No. Not at all. And while we're here, let me go ahead and wish Rob a happy birthday. His birthday was on Saturday, and I can't believe that I have a 37-year-old child. But
He's 37.
young, he's not a child, he's a man. Right. 37. So let me ask y'all this question, because this is something that has happened to me recently. So you know how you get all these Facebook friend requests, right? So then you get those Facebook friend requests for somebody from the past. And you're like, why is this real? Why is this person Facebook friending me? Because whatever the situation was, either you done forgot about it or it wasn't the best situation. That's happened to me a couple of times where people have Facebook friended me, and I'm just like, why would you want to be my friend? So, I do my due diligence, right? Hey, what's up? All right. And then it's like, you ain't talking about nothing. You a whole married person. Go and be over there with your wife. Which brings me to something else.
Okay.
the terminology. It brings me to this terminology. So when a man says, "No, I am married," that's one sentence. Or, "Sorry, I am married." What's the difference in how those two terms, how those two sentences are delivered? What do y'all think? "No, I'm married." "Sorry, I'm married."
Is there a difference?
Yes, there is a difference.
I think I'm looking at from intent. So to me, it would be the same. It's just what I would choose to say at that time.
What say you guys?
I think you're looking at it like if the guy says, "Sorry, I'm married," it's like possibly leaving a door open or a way in. But for me, well, first of all, I don't engage in those conversations. Those people coming from left field in the inbox. But if it's a legitimate shutdown, it's a shutdown, no matter what the words you're using. There's no one way to say it, right? And from how I'm looking at it.
So Rashad seems to think the same way that you think.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking if I'm shutting it down, I could use there's 20,000 ways to say that.
Okay. So this question was posed to a man. You know, it was asked to a man. How do those two sentences, how do they differ? And according to this man, the "No, I'm married," okay, it completely left no room for negotiations. "No, I'm married." "Sorry, I'm married" seemed to indicate that if I wasn't married, you would have a slim chance. You would have some type of chance.
See,
This is
again,
according to don't shoot the messenger.
it all lends to intent of the person answering. What's your intent to answering, and what's your thought process behind it? If a guy's legitimately married in committed to the marriage, the whole idea is to shut it down. I mean, I could say it 15,000 ways, like I said. And it listen, because we're speaking more than just with words, right? Okay, so if this is a visual instance where they're in the same place or video or whatever, right? Actually, you can speak more than with words in text message and chatting. So if the guy is saying with the same intent, the same way, both of those scenarios, or "No, I'm married." Okay, look at me. "No, I'm married." "Sorry, I'm married." Yeah, of course that's difference. "Sorry, I'm married." So if you're thinking like that, like one means one something else, one means one thing, and the other means, hey, there's a possibility, then everything is going to flow out to let that person know that there's an opening there. So let me put my pinky toe in and see if I can get in there.
So I was just wondering, like I said, because this was something that just kind of popped up in my feeds the other day. No, I'm telling you, I'm taking, that's an automatic rejection. The only time there's an option for advancement. Oh, look at you. An option for advancement? Seriously? Is if that information is being withheld. Yes, I completely agree with that. I completely agree with that. And I agree with you too, babe, is that it is the intent behind the words that you speak. It's the way that you frame those words with your body language, and all of that kind of stuff. So it is football season.
Hold on, before you do that, don't. It's almost time for us to shut down. But what are you going to say about football?
I just made an announcement. It's football season. Who y'all rooting for?
Are you still a Saints fan?
Yes, I am. I will always be a Saints fan, win, lose, or draw.
Okay. All right.
Yep. As a matter of fact, I'm getting ready to make me a Saints t-shirt, whether I go to the game or not. And y'all, listen, I don't watch sports on TV.
Not at all. I wasn't going to say anything.
As a matter of fact, I rarely watch TV. I listen to audiobooks. I love, however, going to live sports games. That I will do all day. And I don't even care who's playing. If it's live, I'm there. So Rashad is an Eagles fan. What are you, babe? You hanging with the Saints this
I
year?
mean, I don't know. I might pick a team. I don't know. I'll go with the Saints by default.
Don't be going with the Saints because I'm with the Saints.
They say the longer you're with somebody, you become more and more as one.
So in Rob's household, they're big on both of them are Saints fans, But when it comes to college football, right? Rob is with LSU and his wife is with Crimson Tide.
Roll Tide, roll.
Pat is a wishful fair weather Bengal fan. Of course, Rashad, all you have to do is place the order. Style with Taste can do, we can do whatever. We can do it. Mm-hmm.
I'm still waiting on the order I placed, but that's another story.
What order did you place?
My cash flow creators.
Dude,
My cash flow creators.
I'm gonna just leave that right there. But
Okay.
yes, I'm about to make myself
I want the cash flow creators, then I want a goat. Like cash flow creator, then the goat either up top or head. Because we're gonna be the goat and getting this money out here.
I'm about to make myself a rhinestone Saints template.
Did you hear me though?
Make myself a rhinestone Saints template, and
Hello?
decide whether or not I'm gonna put it on a t-shirt or a hoodie, or something like that. Mm-hmm. I can't hear him because I've turned off my ears. You see that?
Oh, okay. So sometimes we have technical difficulties. I said I want the cash flow creators and the head of the goat. The goat just looking straight ahead. Like, I'm about to get this money out here. You better come on over here, the cash flow creators community.
Did y'all hear somebody talking? I didn't hear. So we got some Eagles fans. We got some Bengal fans. I know that Yolanda is with me, on that Saints tip. Sam is deciding who he's going with this year. Mm-hmm.
Hey, speaking of cash flow, guys, and let me go over here and drop it in here. If you're there's so many ways to make extra money or create a whole nother career flow. Janet brought this to my attention about this courier service that you can do. You contract as an independent contractor. Don't go work for them. Be a 1099 independent contractor. That way you can hook up with several of these companies. So I'm going to post one in here that we connected a client / friend / basically family member with because of a situation they're in. It would work for them, right? But here's the one that I found. I like to vet stuff before we talk about it. And definitely before we post it anywhere. But if you're looking to make a little bit extra cash, there's these courier companies. You can deliver all kinds of stuff, right? This one I happen to find they're national. They're in small towns, small cities. Anything that needs to be delivered in the course of like a one-day type thing, you're not driving. You don't need a big rig. This is you in your car, your truck. If you got a what do you call those things? Small box van, it'd be perfect for that, right? So it's called Roadie, right? There's the website. If anyone wants to check it out to make a little bit of extra cash on the weekend, evenings, or whatever, there's always. I've been looking at it for the past week.
Mm-hmm.
There's always stuff there that you can do from small amounts to the biggest amount I saw was $266, right? But that's a whole nother way of making money that I hadn't looked at until Janet brought that to my attention. I think she saw it on TikTok. But check it out, man. Maybe because we know, times are tough for everyone these days with this inflation and everything that's going on in the economy. With it looking to get a little bit, worse before it gets better. You never know what that little thing is that you can tap into that'll help you get through these tough times. Just the food prices have not, gone back down, which I don't think it ever will. It might go down a little bit, but there's been a new level set in all these things. Gas prices probably not going to get below $3 a gallon again. But anyway, there's something you guys might want to check out if you have a car. Or if you live in the bigger cities, I think they allow you to do the whole bike courier situation. But anyway, that's kind of stuff we're going to be bringing, to you guys' attention, mostly in the group, the Cash Flow Creators group. Thank you, Janet, you can hear me now, huh? You didn't hear the part about the creative?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you fine. You're loud and clear.
The mic is working.
The mic is working wonderfully.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and get ready to shut down.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. You got some more to talk about?
Yeah.
You got some more to talk about?
No.
Oh.
It was wonderful hanging out with you guys today.
Over there.
We're very, very pleased that you guys decided to grace us with your wonderful presence. And we will see y'all next time on Coffee Chat with Sam G and Janet Campbell Gisyer. Ciao for now.
I'm not even going to say anything.
My whole government name, that's right.
I ain't going to say anything. You guys have a great day. We'll see you on Wednesday.